all of you already know by now that sometimes, when you're trying to travel down this road of forgiveness, it's far, far more difficult to get to the end of that process than ever before.
Forgiveness is a process of self-control and self-discipline. There's also a process that we went through in the classroom where I had to do immediate forgiveness and as opposed to long-term forgiveness. Because young people come with their own sets of problems, and you represent the world to them. And so when they treat you like the world has treated them, you have to, right then and there, become the axle of forgiveness for them. You cannot, even when they like one young man said, "F you, Mrs. Beard," my answer was, "No, thank you, but let's talk about it." Forgiveness means you don't hold anything against them because they're children.
So forgiveness isn't all about going to church. It's about you being a human being.
But we talk about forgiveness, but can we really do it? We're sitting here thinking, this sounds great. Everything we're talking about sounds great. It's love and compassion, but when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, can we do it? And I think that's something that we just need to think about as we go on throughout the day and throughout your lives, is when someone does something wrong to you, it might be easier for you to heal, to understand why that person did that. I'm not making any excuses for something that happened to you, but understanding the human behind the mistake.
I think forgiveness is something we do as individuals. Reconciliation is something that we do to build community. But I just want to mention the elephant in the room. Not everybody wants forgiveness. Not everybody wants reconciliation. And sometimes you have the experiences that you hear about with this. And not everybody feels badly.
Sometimes not everyone is sorry or is looking for that. I forgot to mention, I will just briefly because it was important, that the childhood friend that had raped me passed away about a year and a half ago from a massive stroke, and I'm still connected to the family, so I knew that, and they said, "I know you'd want to know because you were really close at one point, and here's the funeral." And I just said, "Thank you for letting me know," because they weren't aware of the situation. But the first thought that occurred to me was, he didn't ever acknowledge that. He never even said he was sorry. And the second thought was, it's just not necessary for him to be in this room, on this earth, or to have ever acknowledged it. Again, it was, forgiveness is for you, and it's by far been the hardest thing I've ever done and the most powerful part of my recovery. So.
That forgiveness is not a single aha moment. It is much like grief, in that it's a spiral of process that one goes through.
I have had to forgive many times in my life, but I agree that revenge does not serve us. I think that it builds anger and resentment and even more darkness that's already there. So I think that revenge actually contributes to the captivity that we are in when we do not forgive.
Right off at the beginning, you might think, hey, I feel better, I just got revenge, but over time, the guilt sets in on what you did to that person. So I think a lot of people want to get revenge on somebody that hurt you. That's a natural response. We've all done it. I've done it. But I definitely don't think it is the good option.
We talk about wanting to have forgiveness, but yet individuals don't always want to do what's necessary to forgive one another. I believe there has to be two people involved in any effort of forgiveness. If you're just doing it for yourself, that's selfish.
Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. When we're wounded, we'll never forget. However, if we are willing to move through the process, we realize we reach some freedom.